Hey there, and welcome to the demo for Crawlspace. Now, that might sound a bit odd, especially if you're already aware that I've played the full game of Crawlspace quite a bit the past week and a half or so ago. Now, the reason why I'm covering the demo here today is because someone left some information in the comments that there's actually some information in the demo that's not present in the full game. Right now, I'm in the midst of trying to collect everything that I pretty much can find on Crawlspace to prepare for the story breakdown I'm doing on it pretty much in, I guess, this month, by the time you're seeing this video. It's currently the end of April for me, but I don't know where I'm gonna fit this video, and I figured, I might as well have this recorded. I don't know if there's much different, but for story stuff's sake, and it'd be good to have footage at least of it, might as well record it and see what happens. This might be a short video, honestly, but that's pretty much what I'm doing here, because there's a lot that I'm trying to work through, a lot of information I'm trying to decide on what I think is going on in the game, because that's something that I haven't really done so much. I feel like with my recent story breakdowns, I think for a lot of them, yeah, I present the story as I understand and whatnot, but I don't really do that much theorizing on them, right? I kind of just go for what I think is the correct plot line of the story, right? The correct quote-unquote interpretations and whatnot, or try to just figure out what is the actual story. But sometimes, especially in my earlier videos, I tried to do more theorizing about what's going on, what could be going on, for some things that are left a bit more mysterious, and I kind of missed that. And of course, this game dropped in my lap with all sorts of mystery and stuff that I'm still trying to figure out, and trying to see what do I think is really going on, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. But with that said, now you know why I'm covering the demo, even though I already beat the full game, but I'm curious to see what we can see here. Obviously, this demo is pretty much covering the Prelude section of the game, right? The Prelude looks a lot like this. Now I wonder, is the phone call the same as it is in the full game? In the full game...
Hey, you there? Do you, recognize my voice still? I don't know if you do, because I was the guy that kind of trained you on the security stuff, and you...
That's different.
The company, 5 years ago. Since then, we've never really talked, so maybe getting a call from me feels kind of weird, but you've transferred to that other place, and I guess it could be easy if you make yourself not freak out. I would just pretend they're not there. You see them down the hallway. Act like you're paying attention to the cameras and everything. I mean, they won't even walk into your room. Maybe I shouldn't have called.
That should be Garvey, right? It sounds a lot like Garvey. So the phone call is different. That phone call is not that way in the game originally, because in the full game, if you haven't seen my videos on that, the person that calls you pretty much just says urgently, get ready because they're coming for you and whatnot. But here it's a bit more of a traditional introduction, I guess. Now, if the mechanics are the same, I just need to put my camera up, I think, until they leave, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, that is interesting, because they give you no hints whatsoever. I can see an arcade machine over here on the right. Oh, who's there? Put the camera up. Okay, so that's the same. But yeah, as I was saying, with the whole story breakdown stuff, there's a lot to go through with regards to the different characters, and specifically what I'm trying to parse out what are the different things that happen as you go throughout your nights in the deep, because that is mainly where a lot of things are left, I guess. Unexplained is one way of putting it, or I guess mysterious is another way, right? Why do you have 3 phone guys in the full game? Who is the star? Was the deep made just for Fritz? Questions like these I want to address in the story breakdown. And when I was first making my videos on Crawlspace, I, was thinking to myself, oh, I might just wait for the whole trilogy, even though that could take ages. But the more and more I played the game, I realized a video on the whole trilogy might take ages, right? Especially if the second and third installments end up being as intensive as Crawlspace is, if not more. I don't know how that's going to turn out, but as a result, I figured, you know what? I think it would be better for me to try and just cover the games one at a time. If anything, you know, should the whole trilogy be out at some point in the future, I could just mix all 3 videos or do revisions on, you know, the first game, depending on what we learned from the second and third game. There's a lot of things I can kind of do to work around the whole trilogy, you know, assuming everything goes well and all that. So that's why I was like, you know what, I'll just go ahead and make a story breakdown on this. And it honestly, like, I don't know, I haven't actually made the script for it yet. I pretty much have outlines of everything that's happened in the game from the moment you launch, and I'm gonna pretty much work with that to try and, you know, figure out how big that script's gonna be. But there's just a lot of coverage. I literally have to go through all the different phone calls. I have to go through the Crawlspace dialogue sections, which luckily is not the craziest section. I think a lot of it, I'm still trying to like work out how much of that script is gonna be like theorizing. How do I want to structure it? So it's gonna be definitely, I think, a very fun video to make for me personally. Hopefully you guys end up enjoying it whenever it drops. There should be a story breakdown that I just released today, actually, on the 30th, on Clockwork Conundrum. It should be a relatively short video. Actually, it's probably my shortest story breakdown by far, because it was a small scale game made for a game jam, but I wanted to cover it since I had a little bit of a story here, and you know, I wanted to figure out something to do. Like, I don't always want to do like big games because sometimes that can just get draining. I was quite drained after the Magic Hour, which ended up being my longest video of that style, and it drained quite a bit out of me. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed making that video, but sometimes some of these videos, like the amount of time I go into trying to like not even just research, but even like the writing, and sometimes making sure that everything turns out right, I kind of obsess over that a little bit, and so sometimes that can get mentally draining for me. But overall, I love making those kinds of videos anyway, so I wanted to like put something short out for the end of April before gearing up for Crawlspace, pretty much. So far, interestingly enough, it's only been Bonnie and Chica that have been moving, right? I haven't seen Foxy move at all tonight, and neither have I seen Freddy move. Obviously, you never see this. You don't really see a 6 a.m. for the Prelude night, and now we have night 2. So there's another phone call, okay. I wasn't sure how long this demo was going to be, but...
Hey, it's me again. I don't know what happened last night. Maybe it was fine. I just thought if you put your light on Foxy, turn it on and off a bunch of times, it should be good.
Oh, okay.
There's one more thing I kind of want to tell you, but it should wait. I want to talk to my young brother. I love him a lot. He usually just needs me.
John?
After that, I won't call again. Let's just not talk.
Yeah. Definitely referring to John there. As far as I'm aware, I don't think I've missed anything in Crawlspace. In terms of... I mean, the one thing... Actually, no, I take that back. There is one thing that could delay the story breakdown, which is the journal update that is upcoming for the game, because that's the one thing I have not been able to get. The journal that belongs to Julie Wright. You get that journal by playing through all of the minigames before Night 6. I have not been able to get that because the one time I did get all the minigames, it was after Night 6, because that's the only way you can play all the minigames. And so, as a result, I am missing quite a bit there. And it seems like there is supposed to be an update that also adds more lore in general. So, even though I am aiming for middle of May, that's more of an optimistic guess, depending on how that update goes. Because again, it's pretty much what, end of, like, I have 2 weeks, pretty much. I don't know. Again, in general, I don't know if I included it in one of my previous videos when I was playing Bloody Knight with Froggies, but there's a lot that I need to, like, work on, because I'm gone for almost a week in May, middle of May, exactly. And so that's why I'm trying to get, like, a lot of videos out. I'm trying to get a lot of videos ready in advance for that little break period, so that it's not just no videos for that week. I'm trying to, like, find a lot of, like, one-off stuff, and frankly, the game like this honestly kind of works to, like, help buffer some time. I guess if anything, if I were to say anything, basically, please leave Foxy. If I were to say anything, basically, it's gonna be a very busy couple weeks for me. With that said, also, I appreciate all the suggestions that have been coming in recently, and all the support on the videos as well. It's been really nice to see. There's just, like, so much going on. I've been trying to catch up on some of the suggestions. I still have suggestions from, like, months ago that I have not covered, which is, is something. I mean, I know sometimes, like, I notice that it's like, yeah, I mean, I wish I could get them sooner, but it's like a lot of times, like, I'll see a game that just recently dropped, and it's like, oh, I really want to play that. It's like, I don't know, it's like my mind goes all over the place with these games, and I never have enough. It's not even that I don't have enough time to cover all of them. It's just that with the way I upload, it takes me ages to cover games. It feels like sometimes, depending on the game, of course, but it's just that, again, it's just. There's, like, sometimes there's so many games, and sometimes there are games that I have, like, that, yeah, I know I can play, but I'm not ready to, or I don't want to play them at the time. I don't know. There's, like, a lot. Okay. The end. Thanks for playing the 3-night demo. That was 2 nights. What are you talking about? Alright, I'm gonna let one of them get me on. Wait, no, wait. If I want to let them get me, I have to stay like this. I guess I guess we'll find out if the jump scare does anything. If not, then we'll leave it at that. Alright, well, either way, we're gonna leave it there for now. I just wanted to get a look at the demo, see, if there was anything that I was gonna miss from not checking it out. And it served as a decent chance to talk a bit about some YouTube stuff, what I, have going on right now. Alright, so it's a bit after that last segment I recorded, because I found out about something quite interesting. Another game page called Insanity Remastered by Insanity Games Productions. And obviously what you're seeing here is pretty much what looks to be identical to Crawlspace Insanity Remastered. This is also the 3-night demo to Insanity Remastered. Now this is obviously a little bit interesting because one might think this is a fake build or something like that. But if you take a quick look at the game page, specifically comments on that, it's clear that a lot of people are a bit more aware of what's going on here. And this is something I really want to, talk about in my story breakdown on the game. Let's just say some might argue this is the real Insanity Remastered. Now, one thing I did find kind of interesting is that with Crawlspace Insanity Remastered, right, by the Trilogy Collective, the 3-night demo only has 2 nights. I don't know if that's because, technically speaking, in that demo, right, what would eventually happen is, the game kind of, like, switches over. Like, in the full game, obviously, you go from Prelude to Crawlspace.
You there?
Now, this phone call is actually the same. So, of course, we'll be taking a quick look here, see if anything is, different here. I don't know, I find it very interesting that there are 2 game pages. I'm fascinated by, like, what they're doing here, honestly. I can't wait to get into it again. That's why, this is part of the reason why I'm actually going to make the Crawlspace breakdown more split up, right? It's not going to be with, it's not going to be one entire video, because I think trying to do that would be a bit of a disservice to the game, frankly. Because I think it would just get way too muddled with how much there is to talk about. I saw a comment that, you know, addressed that, you know, they wouldn't mind if it was over an hour long or something. And my issue isn't really the length of the video, right? I kind of already replied to this, but I guess, like, my issue, you know, when I'm talking about, like, why I didn't want to make this into one video, it's not because it would be too long, necessarily, right? I've made story breakdowns that are over an hour long, and I don't have an issue with that. My main thing is that there's no way, at least I can't figure out how I would write this game's story breakdown cohesively in one video. I've tried. I try to, like, position the viewer as the main character of said game, right? Like, you know, like, for example, right, in I'm trying to think of, like, a good example. Showman's the Awakening, right? I say that you are Mark, right? I don't usually go so far as to, like, I don't know, I feel like in general it's just, you know, I just think, like, it makes more sense to write videos that way, at least for me, when it comes to story breakdowns. I know I'm not the only one to do this. So, you know, when I was trying to come across this game, it's weird because I would argue that while I could, you know, very well say, right, and I mean, I still am planning on, like, you know, saying, like, okay, put yourself in the shoes of Fritz Smith in this case. But it's also weird because, in a way, the player themselves is also part of the story. That's the most I'll really go into it. But as a result, you can probably see where things start to get weird. Because if I refer to you as Fritz, and then I try to refer to you as the player, it can start to get, at least for me, when I was trying to write it, it was starting to get weird, right? Because I wanted, again, it's like, it's weird if I try to frame you as both Fritz Smith and the player, even though, you know, technically, if we're going to get really meta about it, you are one and the same in the context of the game. But with story breakdowns, I try to put you in the shoes of the character as if the events were actually happening, not in the context of the game, if that makes sense. I don't know how well I'm explaining that. My point is, it would be, when I was trying to write, it was weird if I say something like, oh, you know, you're experiencing stuff, like, it's like saying, okay, you know, you're managing the camera system and all of a sudden your game crashes, right? But it's like, it's weird to say that from the perspective of Fritz Smith, who isn't playing the game, you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of like the idea that I'm trying to put forward. Now, here is one thing. So far, everything has been the same. And I think that is indeed intentional, right? Because of something that happens in Crawlspace Insanity Remastered, right? I don't know if I'm imagining this too, by the way, but do the models look different? Am I just... oh, what the hell? Oh, Jesus! Well, I don't know. I got distracted by the fact they were all there. Alright, let me try and, like, remake that point that I was trying to make, because I feel like I didn't make that point properly. Basically, right, obviously, Crawlspace Insanity Remastered by the Trilogy Collective, right, the full game starts off in Prelude. Like the demos, right, both demos start out like this. Obviously, the first phone call is very different. In the full game, obviously, you are called by a phone woman who is yet to be named. However, in both demos, we have Garvey doing the phone calls. Now, obviously, this is also interesting considering that Garvey is also one of the phone guys in the full game. However, I do find it interesting that in both versions of Crawlspace or Insanity Remastered, how you want to put it, this section of the game is the same, which would go on to indicate that this part of the game was made by the same person. Alright, finally reached 5 AM. That took me a bit longer than I'd like to say, honestly. I mean, I died a few times. I didn't think it was going to take me that long. The end. Thanks for... See, they say it again there too. Thanks for playing the 3-night demo, even though it's 2 nights. That makes it seem as though there's supposed to be a secret night in there somewhere. But yeah, I just wanted to add this part on before I pretty much ended the video. So yeah, something to think about regarding these two game pages. Alright, so I don't know how I'm gonna have this all edited, but by now you've seen the second build of the game by Insanity Game Productions. And in their game page, right, they have the same description as Crawlspace and Sanity Remastered. However, there is a Red 2 in FNAF 2, which if you click leads to another game page titled ID-12. And this is that game, which we're about to find out. We are Havoc Puppet, so that's going to be interesting. I think from what the wiki says, Havoc Puppet, I think, is supposed to be Tom, the very first kid who was killed at Cake Bears. So we also did see them in one of the mini games after the puppet gives life, right? Puppet gives life to the 5 toy animatronics, and then it transitions to Havoc Puppet seeing the BOA, Box of Abominations. And it looks like this might be that same area, because they kind of have like this split room, and the layout seems to be similar. Okay, and I believe this is the depiction for Molten Evil, Julie Wright. Now what happens if you approach her? Oh. The hell? Okay. Did she get more bloody? Like, what the hell happened there? I guess I don't know, I tackled her or something, and then like, okay, I'm gonna leave now. Oh, I clicked the arcade machine. Hold on. Deep 1. SCM adult. Name. Fritz Smith. ID 12. Cake Bear. Oh, it's kind of like our ID. I guess it's like our identification within the deep. Extremely sluggish / tired and unresponsive in the beginning, but still could be described as feral / rabid like the others who came before. Seems to still be struggling from paralysis and panic from before death. Assumedly, this will pass with some time. So it seems like this part is referencing what happened after the stability ending, where you pretty much sacrifice your stability, spring locks kill you, and you move on to the next level of the deep. But at this point in time, it still says Deep 1. So I think this is just like a record of our time or our character in Deep 1. Or maybe this could be like what happens right after we died, where we were sluggish / tired, but at one point feral / rabid. And we were struggling from paralysis and panic. Oh wait, I see. It seems to still be struggling from paralysis and panic from before death. So, obviously because we were trapped in the suit, so we were still kind of like traumatized with that. So after death, yes, this is after death. Assumedly this was passed with some time. Now, they mentioned, like the others who came before. Now, my theory on this is that John Wright was in the deep at one point because he made similar comments to Fritz in the Sanity ending, where he kind of describes the voice of a woman, guiding him, which in this case has to be Julie Wright, because in the very beginning of the game for Fritz, a woman on the phone kind of guides him before getting brought over to the Deep 1, basically, in the main portion of the game. It's like she got a little more bloody, almost. Well, I guess that's another little thing to add to the notes. Wonderful. Unfortunately, as you're seeing this, was not able to get the Crawlspace, any of the Crawlspace breakdown stuff after. Oh. It'll probably have to be after I come back from vacation, but who are you? Let's see. The music stops. Oh! Oh, it's Cake Bear! Oh. That has to end up being Fritz. I'm guessing, again, it's because the suit's green, so that's probably why I just thought that, but considering... But then again, but Cake Bear, even in the game, is never depicted as green, though, so this has to... Why is this like... Let me see again. No, it doesn't make sense. Why would this one turn to be green? I mean, it's obviously Cake Bear, so... Yeah, in general, I think they might have just depicted him as green, but that's definitely Fritz, because he's the only one that dies in the Cake Bear suit to begin with. But yeah, I guess that's another part of these games covered. So of course, with all that said, I hope you did enjoy. If you did, leave a like, hit that notification bell to keep up to date on future videos. If you have not seen me play Crawlspace, feel free to check out the playlist in the description on pretty much my full playthrough. The game will be in the description below as always, and with that said, I'll see you in another video. Take care.